Yes, welcome to the Jamaica Young Police channel. To all my loyal viewers and subscribers. Yes man, welcome. So we're embarking down memory lane regarding Papa San's family. Experiencing his brothers being killed, and he was next on the chopping block from the Klansman gang in Spanish Town led by BULBIE Bennett. And this only goes to show you that sometimes in life government causes good people to become criminals. Because I, as a farmer detective, knew about his plight and what was going on with him over there in Spanish Town, but he was out of our police area. And another thing, it was the PNP government that was in charge of the government. And those of you who have served, a family member that have served in the police force, would know that during that time, during the 1990s, we have one of the most corrupt police force then, because the PNP was able to corrupt it from day one, from the day Michael Manley won election, February 1989 onward. And they would use political retribution against people who are off the other side, on the other side of the political aisles. And as you know that they wanted to get rid of Papa San's family out of De La Vega City because of their influence. And they use, what some people would say, that they use Sykes to kill his brothers. And he was next. Papa San went through all the right things, to get his firearm permit. And he was denied by a superintendent by the name of Harry Bungles Daly. Harry Bungles Daly, maybe it's the first time some of you is going to hear this. Harry Bungles Daly, you can call him, I would say that, I would label him as the, I wouldn't say he's not, I would have him as one of the men in the Klansman gang. One of the big men in the Klansman gang. Because if Harry Bungles want you gone, he can get somebody from the Klansman gang to take care of you. The same way that he had used the Klansman gang to get rid of a policeman who's from De La Vega City, a corporal who used to be around him. It is alleged, because I have spoken to some people from De La Vega City about that. And I've done a video about it too. So I want you to listen to Papa San. And, just listening to the man, it's pain. But you see, I can tell you this, That's why I tell you, if you believe in God, you see that it's a miracle why this man is still here. And that's why he loves God, and that's why he's praising God. I don't care about whether you believe in God or not, but this is the man's faith. And he know that he was destined to do what he's doing right now because of the things that he has been through. And God could rescue him from what was happening. So I want you to listen to what he's saying. You watch, you listen, and you decide.
Just before Christmas time, I think it was the 21st.
Yeah, that was a hard lick for me because, my blood brother and things like that, never expected that to happen. And that really floored me.
Can you imagine?
Yeah, it's totally knocked me out cold. Never expected that to happen that kind of a way, and it take a toll.
Then you lost your sister sometime after that.
Shortly.
Shortly.
Never long. When DJ versus singer up in Harborview, that big match that
Right.
with me, Bojo, Beanie, all of us played. That's a match my sister leave and crash and died.
Oh.
So I never even get over dirt at the time when that happened. So it's like two blow in a short period of time that you have to deal with.
And then you lost a cousin.
My cousin
was killed by the police, I think.
Yeah, when I get hold of the gun at the time.
That was 94.
Yeah, I don't remember the year, but
94, what?
Yeah, 94. That was tough too again. you know.
That was our next stumbling block in our
The next
journey.
stumbling block, because you grew up in an environment that it teaches that that's a way to protect yourself. But we tried to get licensed firearm. I went to training school for training, and they didn't give it to
And
us.
you didn't get the permit?
No.
Alright, Harry Bungles. Everybody know Harry Bungles, you know. People used to see him as a cool police or a bad police, and you know, but Bungles is a man where I can tell you, Harry Bungles is not a genuine person. I used to work with him. Harry Bungles is a man who use people for his convenience. Harry Bungles, the relationship that he have with anyone, it's always it have to benefit him. And I know of a lot of entertainers in Jamaica. What Bungles have done, took their money, make promises, or make promises to them to, you know, let them get them firearm license, and in the end he did not give them, and he would have them doing stage show upon stage show upon stage show, and in time they refuse. That's when, because that's what they do, you know, just use that over the artists to get maximum mileage out of them. And if they refuse to continue for him to use them, he does deny them the gun license. And I can call names because I know for a fact. I used to work at Unspear with this man. And this man, I am telling you, Harry Bungles is a proper criminal police, just like Ox and Cowboy and them. Big time. Proper criminal police. I know that I used to work with the man, and if it is John Gaz who rescued me from under that man, you understand? Because if that man did ever get a chance to hold me, I'm telling you, man. So a lot of people that these senior officers use, especially when time you're young and overzealous, and you know you feel that you're doing work, you know, you're working, but in, you know, when it comes on to Bungles, and they just use people. So you know, that's.
And if your brother get killed, and you're being threatened that you're gonna get killed, cause it's a threat me get that day when I get hold of the gun, you know. I said, they tell me that I shouldn't go to Fort Clarence Beach for the show, cause I think I have a show today, and they said they want to kill you too. And I said, no, I'm not gonna go down like that. So I have my thing, I have it for me. My mother-in-law tell me, don't leave the house. You know, I'm gonna push it and leave the day. You know, just to get myself secure a little bit more. And I was trailed, you know, and just get ugly.
Yeah.
Just get ugly, and you know, there's a lot of stuff that have been lost because of that.
I can imagine.
But you know, because it's a lot, you know. But
and you know, the Klansman gang from Spanish Town under the tutelage of Donovan Bulbie Bennett and Harry Bungles Daly, because Harry Bungles Daly was a part of camp, is a part of Klansman, whether or not the police was want to acknowledge it or not. But I am telling you as a former detective, because I know people who was in the Klansman gang. I know James Signs very well, and you understand. But we'll soon get down there, you know, to tell you the names of the big police officers who were involved in the Klansman gang operation and who were making film. You used to make crazy money from the gang, so that's why they were able to flourish. No criminal organization could not or cannot survive and become a force as a Klansman gang without the help of the police. And I'll be calling names of the police officers them that James Sands had told me that he at times would take money to give to other police officers for other big for. When I say I'm talking like detective corporals and, you know, sergeant, and they would take it to the bigger men at Spanish Town. Yes, and he told me. But you see, criminals, you have to understand, it's when criminals respect you, that's how they treat you, you know, they'll tell you things. So that's why, you know, you don't, not because somebody's a criminal, You know, you treat them a certain way. You talk to them with respect, especially if they knew you before, you know, you were a police officer, and they know the kind of police officer you are. They will tell you things. But you see, if you're a police officer and you're corrupted, the same criminal knows that you're corrupted, you know, and they're afraid of you, you know, and they will tell you, you know, the police officer, that be careful of that police, you know. Criminal, you know, telling you that, you know. You understand? So that's how it is. So we'll continue the journey. Yes. If this is the first time to the channel, consider subscribing now. You know, click on the notification bell and select all so that whenever we at the Jamaica Young Police channel release a video, you'll be the first one to receive it. Click the like button. Share the video with your friends, your girlfriend, your neighbor, your co-worker, because knowledge is power, you know. And most importantly, comment below. And you know that there's a special for our members, you know, to have exclusive access to certain things on the channel. Yeah, so this is Detective Porter is about to educate you with facts and not propaganda or hyperbole for the PNP LGBTQ plus party or its minions. I am not here to support criminals or their supporters. I do believe that criminals must live in fear for their lives and not the law-abiding citizen. I am a Jamaican by birth, and one thing that I will always do is speak truth about my country of birth and what it has given me by preparing me for the world. I am grateful especially to the Jamaica Constabulary Force for the opportunity to serve a noble organization. There's a big lie in the international community being promoted by others that Jamaicans are homophobic and kill gays because of how they live. I am a Jamaican and I have known many gay Jamaicans, and I'm friends with some of them. Yes, I'm friends, but then, you know, who are gays. Yeah, some of them are dead because their same-sex lovers killed them, and not the people of Jamaica, because as a people, a lot of us live around them. Some of them are our neighbors, sometimes families and colleagues who are gays, and we do not care about their sexual preference. Three of Jamaica's most respected, loved, revered, celebrated and role models as Jamaicans, and guess what? All of these men are gays, gangsters that go both ways or one way, and people including politicians in the PNP LGBTQ plus party adore these men. You will never hear any of our artists like Butcher Banton and Vibes Cartels or the others make any music about their gay lifestyle, because heterosexual men in Jamaica who are gangsters would kill you for these men, because they are loved, revered, emulated and feared by a majority of Jamaicans. Number one on the list is the late Donovan BULBIE BENNETT, one of the founder of the Klansman gang in Spanish Town, St. Catherine, whose legacy lives on in the minds and heart of every Jamaicans, and who was so powerful when he was wanted for several murders, robberies, rape, burglaries. Yes, burglaries mean that him go round there, round your body. Yeah, whole heap of man, BULBIE rape, shooting, etc. BULBIE was able to get a government contract from the PNP LGBTQ plus government for Highway 2000. 400 million, and he signed it. A man who was wanted, you know, by the Jamaican police, the most wanted man in Jamaica, signed a contract with the same government for over 400 million. So that goes to show you, you know, what the PNP LGBTQ plus government over there promote criminality and put them on a pedestal. This is coming back from Bory Boys and Fed 'em Up days, when Michael Manley would treat these guys as if they were royalty and a part of the political establishment, you know, make them feel larger than life. So here's a man wanted by the police was able to sign a government contract with the government in the presence of the police, and was able to go home after signing the same during the early 1990s. I was stationed at Hunsby Police Station, Kingston 11, and living in Eltham Park, Spanish Town, St. Catherine, when it was reported by the police, Spanish Town Police in St. Catherine, Donovan Bulbie Bennett and some of his men kidnap, rob, rape a taxi driver and 3 women, rob them of cash and other properties. When these people went to the Spanish Town Police Station and reported the matter, the women were telling the detectives of their ordeal. The taxi driver interjected that the women failed to tell the police officer that the men raped them. The woman in turn told the police officer that the taxi driver was raped too. I want you to listen, you know. The woman told the police officers, the detective, that the taxi driver was raped too by Bulbie. And that is how a famous taxi driver who plies the Eltham Park route. Yeah, so the taxi driver who plies the Eltham Park route via Ensom City to Spanish Town got the name Roundwall. Yeah, so there was this taximan that plies the Spanish Town route, you know, to Eltham Park, and he got the name Roundwall because Bulbie raped this man. The gunmen from Klansman gang in Spanish Town did not care about Bulbie's taste for men's rectum. Yeah, Bulbie, they didn't care about Bulbie's taste for men's body. As bad man is nothing to them, because Bulbie was a cold-blooded killer, and that's what mattered to them. Bulbie, during his tenure as a wanted man for nearly 2 decades, on October 30th, 2005, Donovan Bulbie Bennett, the infamous gang leader, unmasked a decade earlier as an emergent criminal dan, was shot dead by the police just outside Clarendon community of Tanaki, near Rock River in Clarendon. Another man, who the police identify as Nathan, was shot dead at the sprawling 2-story house on the Tanaki hillside overlooking the wine in Rio Mina in Clarendon. So those who are fool and think that, you know, nobody knew that that was Bulbie's house, you have another guess coming, because the criminals, one thing with criminals, they love to boast. You understand? Bulbie, who had been on the run since 1993, was the leader of the notorious Spanish Town-based Klansman gang. At the time, National Security Minister Dr. Peter Phillips commended the police and soldiers who participated in the Operation Kingfish campaign that led to Bennett's death. And you notice the scrap Operation Kingfish. Anything that is effective in fighting crime, they scrap it. I don't know which government scrap it, because I had left the police force then. The success was achieved by superior intelligence, the support of the public, and the determined focus of law enforcement agencies, said Phillips, who was under pressure to control violent criminality in Jamaica, where nearly 1,400 people were murdered up to October that year. The police report that Bennett, father 3, and Nathan were at the Tanaki house, a large white box-shaped structure, when the security force turned up. Shortly before 5 a.m., the cops had received intelligence that the gang leader and other criminals were hiding at the premises. The police said as they approached the house, they were fired on by Bennett and his crony. During the firefight, both men were fatally shot. A .44 Desert Eagle pistol with 4 live rounds and a Ruger 9mm pistol was seized after the shooting, the police said. It was not immediately clear whether the men died in or outside the house, or whether they made an attempt to escape. Neither was it clear whether other people were at the house had escaped. Bennett's name or more so his alias Bulbie, as well as his going-ons, came to national prominence when, so I want you to listen to this part, This is a PNP, LGBTQ plus member of parliament, she's a parliamentarian. And she let the country know about this man, And you think the PNP did anything about it? Just listen. Edda Robinson, then a PNP, People's National Party parliamentarian for St. Catherine Southern, used him as a metaphor for the emerging political alliance. PJ Pattis was Prime Minister, Dr. Peter Phillips was a part of his cabinet, about whose dangers she warned and from whom she told other parliamentary colleagues to stay away. In a sectorial debate, Robinson related how Bennett had sought her patronage and sponsorship to become the leading don in Jamaica. Wow. So Bulbie want Edda Robinson to anoint him as the leading don in Jamaica, but told the house that she was incapable of giving birth to a don. In that regard, I am truly barren, she said. That means she can't have no criminal. She not going to support no criminal. Robinson resigned from the legislature the following year over a rift between herself and PNP councillors in her constituency regarding the kinds of people they were willing to associate with. But over years, Robinson had spoken out against political tolerance of gangs and frequently called Bennett's name as a gang leader and raided discussion. In her newspaper column, she accused him of a raft of murders and other crimes. She had also complained about the inability of the police to catch him. After Bennett's death, the police did not give specifics of his rap sheet. Still, they said he was wanted for several murders, shooting, extortions, and other serious crimes committed in Spanish Town, Old Harbour, and Portmore in St. Catherine, and Mapen in Clarendon. The house at which Bennett was found was nearly tucked away between several hills. It boasted 7 bedrooms and 5 bathrooms, one of which was furnished with a large jacuzzi only. Most rooms were fitted with expensive, even if seemingly inexpertly collected furniture. On the roof of the house were 3 large water tanks with a sophisticated water pump system. There was also a standby electricity generator. From either of the 2 balconies, there was a spectacular view of the Rio Mina and the plains beyond. This is the lifestyle of a king, Operation Kingfish, spokesman Sergeant Steve Brown quipped at the scene. No ordinary criminal should be living this kind of lifestyle. Tanaka residents said they were unaware that the house belonged to Bennett. They were under the impression that a returning resident was billing it from England. That's how they tell lies, According to one resident who identified himself as Mitchell, the workman never saw Bennett during the construction. After construction, workmen were refused further entry to the premises, Mitchell said. Officials also launched investigation into whether Bennett formerly owned the land and the house and how they acquired. The police said at the time of his death, Bulbie wealth was estimated at over 100 million Jamaican dollars. He was the beneficiary of many contracts, even though he was a wanted man. Police also said he had involvement in more than 100 murders. The following day, his death, members of Bulbie gang and people loyal to him rioted by blocking roads in and around Spanish Town, firing on the police station, and burned t-shirts with the image of Dr. Peter Phillips. Dr. Peter Phillips is the godfather of the Klansman gang. He's the one that supplied them with endless amounts of government contracts. 2 cops were shot and injured during the rioting. and a Jamaican urban transit company bus, a motor car, and a section of the bus terminal were set on fire. Business remained closed, schools could not hold classes, and most taxi and bus operators stayed away from the old capital. Several people who had left their home to get to work and school were stranded early in the morning and had to walk back home as intermittent volleys of gunfire blazed through the town. A curfew was imposed, and section of the troubled town started 6 p.m. The area is still tense, and there are sporadic gunshots fired. Superintendent Kenneth Wade, the commanding officer in charge of St. Catherine North Police Division at the time, told the Observer, "We did not anticipate it, but irrespective of how much we had anticipated, the resources that are available to us, given what is happening in the carpet area and other places, would never be adequate," Wade said. At a news conference on November 4th, 2005, then Assistant Commissioner of Police Glenmore Hines, they call him Zippy Hines, Task Force Commander of Operation Kingfish, which was set up a year earlier to dismantle significant organized criminal gangs, said Bennett had very little or no assets in his name. According to ACP Hines, Bennett advanced his position and standing over the years by strategically positioning himself as a legitimate businessman. I wanted man to position himself as a businessman. Our intelligence indicate that Bennett acquired a large fleet of motor vehicle and heavy equipment, mostly registered to other people, including family members and those willing to do his bidding. We estimate at the time of his death, Bennett owned over 80 motor vehicles. These include Toyota Coaster buses, motor cars, sports utility vehicles, trucks, heavy-duty equipment. As a result of his direct investment in heavy-duty equipment, Bennett became deeply involved in construction and haulage, not only in St. Catherine, but other parishes as well. Hines said Bennett had been the one don of the Klansman gang, headquartered in De La Vega City, Spanish Town, since May 12, 1993, after wrestling the leadership from Derek Puppy Strings Eccleston, whom he murdered. Bennett established an elaborate extortion racket which prey on local business interests in both central St. Catherine and south central St. Catherine. Not even taximen operated in these areas were spared, ACP Hines said, explaining both Bennett's modus operandi and source of his wealth. Most Klansman members did not know Bennett by either face or voice, Hines said. Most time, only a selected cadre of trusted members knew where he was. He said that the leader of the highly organized, ruthless Klansman gang. Bennett became very sophisticated, directing his gang members from isolated location. Gang members, however, knew their leader was not to be crossed, and his instruction must be carried out to the last detail. Failure to comply would inevitably lead to the death of other gangland punishment. Also speaking at the news conference, Police Commissioner Lucius Thomas said he and the Police High Command supported an observation by Superintendent Kenneth Wade that the PNP had supported the Klansman gang and BULBIE over the years. For the superintendent to speak the way that he had spoken, he would have been armed with information and intelligence to give him that authority to stand up and speak the way he did, Thomas said. We have seen over the years a relationship between organized crime, politics, drugs, and other areas. I am not here to point to a political party of whatsoever color, but indeed there is politics in organized crime, the commissioner said. You have to remember now, Lucius Thomas is a PNP LGBTQ plus activist in uniform in the police force. And the reason why I'm telling you that, there was a detective corporal. His birth name is Michael Rollbottom. That's his birth name. He's a part of the PNP LGBTQ plus party, and because he was involved in the Brigadista program, where he traveled to Russia and Cuba and all those places to train. Then he depoled his name and named himself Winston Meleda. He has no relationship with the Meledas. I knew this when I was a detective at Huntsby, that this man was a PNP LGBTQ plus activist. He was dismissed from the police force whilst he was at training school because the intelligence that came up that this man was aligned with the PNP LGBTQ plus party involved in criminality. So he was kicked out of the police force. At the time, Michael Manley was Prime Minister. And guess what? It's Lucius Thomas who returned that same man. And that man even got promotion in the police force to detective corporal. And there's no other police officer or detective had spent the amount of years that he had spent at Olympic Garden police station, because he was sent there by the PNP government years until he was transferred to Denham Town and he migrated to America. So when it comes down to the police involved in shady things and doing corrupt things, because if all things being said, Meleda should not be in the police force based on his background. Simple as that. So you don't even know how many criminals that I have served in the police force, or how many are in it to this day. Thanks for watching the Jamaica Young Police channel. Please remember to like, share and subscribe to the channel. Have yourself a beautiful day. Jamaica Young Police channel out. And before I go, sorry to say out before, and I'll be coming with some very, very riveting information about the Klansman gang and police officers' role that they had played in the gang. One love.